On this episode, Resort Wars enters a whole new phase as we take our previous winners and put them head-to-head in Resort Wars Showdown. And today we kick things off with two moderate heavyweights as Coronado Springs takes on Port Orleans Riverside. Today's August 11th, 2026, and this is episode 894 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys.
Don't forget to follow us on all your favorite social platforms at MainSTMagic. And be sure to sign up for our free email newsletter at MainSTMagic.com so you never miss the latest Disney news, podcast episodes, vacation tips, and more. Looking for your next favorite Disney shirt? Check out our newest designs and collections at MainStreetShirts.com. And if you're planning your next Disney vacation, our friends at MEI Travel offer completely free vacation planning services so you can focus on making magical memories. Visit MainSTMagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today. If you need help snagging that hard-to-get dining reservation, Mouse Dining keeps watch and alerts you when your reservation becomes available. You can start for free at msmfriends.com. And if you want even more Main Street Magic, join Wonderland Crew on Patreon for bonus episodes, exclusive content, live streams, discounts, and an amazing Disney community. Join today at wonderlandcrew.com. Now before we jump in, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button so you never miss a brand new episode every Tuesday and Friday.
Well, I hope all the Florida people and whoever starts school on August 10th had a great first day.
Yeah, school's back.
Welcome back.
Summer's over.
Summer's over.
Phineas and Ferb got to get back to school and stop wreaking havoc. Yeah, just got back from some back to school shopping.
Yeah, Lacey's ready.
I'm so fascinated by children's, at least ours in this area's, what would you call it? The way they dress. Because, first of all, these stores pop up out of nowhere now.
Okay.
And become the biggest thing in the world.
Like
of social
Brandy?
media. Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Apparently that's been...
It could be gone tomorrow.
But apparently it's been in the other... Like it's been over across like the UK or somewhere.
Okay, so it came from overseas or something.
Correct.
But everything in every one of these stores looks exactly the same. And none of it has visual branding, which just blows my mind. Everything is plain. All the jeans look the same. All the shorts look the same. All the tank tops, everything looks the exact same.
Is that what you were taking notice?
I was. And everything looks like what you could get from most anywhere else at a much cheaper cost. I'm just saying. I totally understand wearing name brands. I did it a lot growing up. But I feel like when we were growing up, you saw what the name brand was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Guess was on the back of your jeans or whatever
Correct.
it may be, or Lucky Brand, or, or you wore
Juicy,
wore shirts that had prints on them that you knew, like that was from an American Eagle or Pacific Sunwear, like wherever it was. And now everything, no branding is showing. So you really wouldn't know what they're wearing. It blows my mind. And then you go get like a tank top for like $35 or something that looks like the same one you could get at Walmart for $4.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
Those are the things I do when I'm out and shopping with you guys, is I think about those.
Okay.
But
well, we got her some good stuff.
We did. Yeah.
And she's all ready. She's got, all her stuff ready for both schools.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
she'll be doing technically kind of college and high school. So
yeah.
Kaylin's got a couple more weeks till she goes to college. But so
Mom
we are finally getting around to our Resort Wars winners. We're going to call this the Resort Wars Showdown now.
Okay.
So we had 8 different episodes that were pitting different resorts that were similar against each other in 7 different categories. Winner advances. Now we're going to continue to pit them up against each other. And for this episode, if you go all the way back to 805, Caribbean Beach went up against Coronado Springs, and Coronado Springs came out on top as the winner. Mm-hmm. So they are going to take on the winner of episode 810, which was the Port Orleans Showdown, Riverside against French Quarter. Riverside won that one. So now we have Coronado Springs versus Port Orleans Riverside. Just a little recap. Coronado opened in 97. It is Spanish, Mexican, and Southwestern influences. Of course, you had the Gran Destino Tower that opened back in 2019. This is obviously a moderate resort. Gran Destino gives it a little bit of that deluxe feel sometimes.
Yes, it does.
Port Orleans Riverside opened in 1992, originally as Dixie Landings. This is the antebellum South meets rustic bayou. Very relaxed, chill vibe. We have stayed there for kind of longer stays twice now in the past year. Really, really love this resort. And everybody knows what we think of Coronado. So gut check, Rhonda. If somebody just came up and said Coronado Springs or Port Orleans Riverside, which one would you choose?
I think I would say Coronado.
You would say Coronado?
What would you say?
Right now I think I still would say Coronado.
Okay.
But I'm interested to see how this turns out.
Okay.
So first, we got to come down to round one, which is the theming and atmosphere. Again, Coronado has that blend of Spanish, Mexican, Southwestern architecture. You have the different villages like cabanas. You have ranchos and casitas, right? Then you have the luxurious Gran Destino Tower, which is much more upscale, kind of like that deluxe feel. Over in Riverside, you have the two very different areas, Magnolia Bend, which is kind of those southern mansions. Then you have Alligator Bayou, which is a little more rustic, very, very large resort. Of course, it's right next to its sister resort, right there on the Sassagoula River near French Quarter. Very, very peaceful. So for you, Rhonda, which way are you leaning for Coronado and Riverside as far as theming and the atmosphere? And you got to think of theming inside the rooms as well. Riverside has a much more recent kind of refurbishment in a lot of areas that really bring in Tiana and things like that. What do you think?
This one's really hard because my gut check is definitely Coronado. But then when you just kind of the way you started saying stuff, I'm like, I do love the mansion looking and I do love more, like, I love the Biltmore and I love, like, I would love to, I wish they were like a mansion, like it looks like one.
Yeah.
I would love to go visit. I think I'm gonna pick Riverside.
Shockingly, I have to agree with you. I think the way that it has such distinct areas between Alligator Bayou and Magnolia Bend almost feels like two resorts in its own.
It really does.
Whereas Coronado, it's got the different, villages, but they all still feel very similar. It's hard to know when you're going from one village to the other, other than signage. They have
it's very rustic or very desert. Looking.
Yeah.
I do love that part, and it reminded
I love the
me
areas with the rock work. And,
100%.
As far as it goes inside the rooms and theming, they have the Three Caballeros, very light theming. When you get into some of the suites and ranchos, there is some cocoa theming actually. But I mean, come on now, we got Tiana. Like, those, I think that the Riverside refurbs are, and that's not counting, they just reopened the royal rooms as well, which are gorgeous. But I'm talking about,
I want to stay
the standard rooms in Magnolia Bend that we have seen and stayed at are absolutely stunning. I think it's my favorite refurb of a room maybe ever that I can think of.
Wow.
So I agree. I got to give the point over to Riverside as far as that goes. So Riverside is up 1-0 to start. Now round two goes into rooms and comfort. Coronado did have a major refurb years ago, and obviously you have the villages with casitas and ranchos and cabanas compared to Gran Destino, which has beautiful rooms as well. You do get the suites in not only the ranchos area, which are great, but you get them in Destino, which are really awesome. We have loved that one-bedroom suite.
Yeah, we have.
We've gotten a chance to stay there. Riverside, latest refurbs. You can get fifth sleepers in a lot of the areas. When you're comparing actual comfort now, we're very similar when we're looking at what's provided as far as the actual bedding and the pillows, mattresses, and things like that. So for you, I guess, which way are you leaning on overall rooms and comfort?
Part of me wants to lean towards Coronado.
Okay. Why?
I think. I mean, because aren't they the same? Like you still have the corner table, you have the 2 beds.
Yeah. I mean,
They
you're looking at
are
very similar room layouts.
Spacious. They're still
Yeah.
the same, like size wise.
Yep.
Because I'm also trying to think. We just stayed at Riverside, and I really loved the corner room we stayed in the
Yes.
entire weekend.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with Coronado.
Oh, you just switched it. Oh no, you did say Coronado. That's right.
Because of the suites and
Yeah.
because you can have more, because we've stayed in all of them, even just casitas. Not in yes, Gran Destino, but we've stayed in
Casitas
suites.
has the suites.
Yes.
I think I said Ranchos earlier. That is not correct.
Correct.
We have not stayed in all the suites in the tower, but we have stayed in that 1 bedroom, which is stunning. I agree with you at Coronado simply for the fact that you have that opportunity to get suites at a moderate level, which you can't do anywhere else, and depending on, when you're working with Amy and MEI Travel, like the rates can still be pretty decent, especially for what you get. And especially if you look to, it's real hard not to roll into this club level and Kronos Club because that technically is part of the rooms. I mean, when they're talking about that being
so good.
a bookable category is to have Kronos Club when you're in the tower. And I think that is such a huge advantage.
Right.
But yeah, the layout of those rooms, even in the casitas, when we've stayed and we got to stay in the Grand, whatever that one was that time, that night in Neil Patrick Harris, that thing was amazing. Like I could live in that thing. Right. So
pretty much.
Yeah. I think Coronado.
Add a few more things and.
Right. Yeah.
Pretty
All it was missing was a kitchen. Do you remember when we went? We had the girls. It was a July 4th weekend actually. And we were checking in with the wonderful Annette, and she was like, "Hey, I can offer you guys an upgrade, but just so you know, it only has 1 legit bed, which is a king bed, and then it has a pull-out couch bed, so the girls would have to sleep on that." And we are like, "We'll take it."
Yeah.
And remember, it was that big, beautiful 1 bedroom that had 2 bathrooms. It had a great living area, big dining table. It even had that bench seating with almost like a wet bar, I guess you would call it, an upgraded coffee machine. So I think there's a lot of options. And then, Coronado being the only moderate with a convention center is the whole reason they've got these luxurious suites and all anyway. Plus,
Which
you can go play,
nice.
if you want, you can pay money, stay in the presidential suite, and you can hang out where LeBron stayed
Yeah.
in 2020 when Disney or NBA was there in the bubble. So, all right, let's move on to round 3, dining and drinks. All right, Coronado, we've got Toledo, we've got Three Bridges, we've got Maya Grill, Rick's, Dahlia, Barcelona, and El Mercado as their quick service. Now, over at Riverside, we got Boatwright's Riverside Mill Food Court, River Roost Lounge. You got the Muddy Rivers Pool Bar. To make it more fair, if you would like to bring in the fact that it is an easy walker boat ride to French Quarter for Scat Cats, where you can get beignets and all,
That's
then we'll
true.
go ahead and rope that in. But where are you thinking as far as
Coronado.
this goes? I think this one is almost... I mean, we'll discuss it, but I don't know that there's a reason.
I think it's sweet you're trying to easy walk to French Quarter
I
because
was trying to be nice. I was trying to give Riverside a little help.
because I think it needs help.
It does.
Because Coronado has just really got some
Yeah.
really good food
It does.
options. So
Yeah, I mean, look at that. We're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legit options.
Right.
That's not even counting on that list that I just read off. That's not counting Siestas, their pool bar.
and that's got,
Right?
That's
and
got
that's
some
not
good stuff.
counting the additional bar that the name is escaping me that sits right outside El Centro, the old lobby area.
Is it
right on the
Lagunas
water.
or something?
Lagunas, you're right. Yep.
Okay.
So that's not even counting those. So you're talking about 9.
But that's just a
different-
bar.
It is just a bar.
It's no food.
Right,
Not
correct.
even a snack.
Correct. But this round is dining and drinks. And often they'll have live music out there. It's
Yeah.
beautiful at night.
Yep.
Three Bridges, our love for that. Maya Grill, while we have not been there in a while, we ate there so many times,
We
years
sure
ago
did.
and loved it. Dahlia is wonderful. While we didn't have the best experience this last time at Toledo as far as that pork chop went, and really that was it.
Everybody
Everything
else
else
kinda
is
did,
incredible
right? Yeah.
there, and I would easily go back. I don't have an issue with boat rides, but
I don't either.
if there is any restaurant on property that needs an overhaul, boat rights is up in the top 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think there's so much more they can do with that.
Yeah.
And now that we're not getting that way back when artist concept rendering of a Tiana's at Lakeshore Lodge, maybe it's time to go ahead and turn boat rights into some sort of Tiana's.
That would be cool.
Right? Because we're not getting it anywhere else.
Correct.
So
that'd be really cool.
Coronado is going to take round 3. All right, let's move on to round 4, transportation and location. These are both rough, honestly.
Yeah.
And with the lockdowns now coming from Disney Springs, which is what Riverside really had going for it. Now, if you're staying on property, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But if you're not, access to it has become even harder now. So Coronado is bus only. You have multiple stops throughout, a very large resort. It is a pretty good location. I'll let you talk about location in a minute because you're better than that. Riverside has buses and it has the boat, which will take you over to Disney Springs. Right? So really, I would say the point kind of goes to Riverside because it does have the additional boats, which will take you to Springs.
Right.
But let's talk about having a car on property and driving to parks. You, who does all the driving and when we're on property and knows the locations honestly better, which one do you think has the better location?
Technically Coronado.
Yeah.
Because you're
it's
right
considered
there.
Animal Kingdom Resort area.
Yes,
however.
it is. But you're right there when you come. Let me see if I'm saying this right. When you come out at the light and you turn left and you go down that way, you either turn left to go down to Magic Kingdom, or I believe you go around to your right for Epcot. And then Springs is right down the road.
Yeah.
It's
Blizzard
very
Beach is across the street.
Right. It's very centrally. I feel like located.
Yeah, more so
because
than
it is
Riverside.
really close to Animal Kingdom. It's not far from Magic. It's not far from Hollywood. Oh, because that's right. Yeah, because then you keep going straight, and then you have Hollywood. That's now. It used to be the old entrance, which kind of sucks because then you have to go.
I know.
All the way around.
That was so convenient when you could enter that way. You remember you used to be able to enter from both sides, right? Before they made those changes?
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think you could. All right. So then with that being
But either
said,
way, when you're driving, I do feel like, especially because I'll drive, I'll be like, I just forget. And I'm like, oh, that's good. That's not far.
Yeah. I feel like Coronado feels more like it's within the central location
Right.
and everything, whereas Riverside
is really close to Springs, so it just feels like obviously a Springs resort.
Right.
So then you are technically further away from everything. Although Riverside is really close to Epcot because you just go across that bridge.
So which do you think has the advantage?
I still think
Riverside?
Oh, sorry, Riverside.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like that boat ride. It's the best boat ride
Right.
at Disney, I think.
Because you're taking for Coronado, that's the only reason I was going to say, because you have two options.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Also, let's see if I say this right. Coronado is set up with the bus stops more circular, whereas Riverside is set up more oval. And what I mean by that is I feel like it's easier to hop to the front of Riverside to catch the bus there.
Okay.
As opposed to Coronado if you're all the way back in Ranchos or something, right? So I feel like it's a little easier to say, you know what? I don't feel like waiting, so I'm going to hop off a bus stop early. Or I'm going to walk to the front to the lobby and catch that bus instead of waiting outside my building, because they both have multiple stops.
Yeah.
But I still feel like for some reason it feels more accessible for some reason at Riverside. You have multiple areas where the bridges cross over. You can also head over to French Quarter. Like, it's one of those where into the night you could say, I see a French Quarter bus, I'm gonna hop on that one, and then finish your night with a nice little walk, right?
Yeah.
So Port Orleans, Riverside will take round 4. All right, round 5, recreation and amenities. We have the nice dig site pool, the main pool there. You have several quiet pools at Coronado. You have things like Sangria University that is offered, right? You have that walking path around the lake and all around the Del Lago Lake. You can even pick up the little free resort guide to spot plants and little animals and stuff. You do have any of those convention type amenities. Plus you have the largest hot tub at Walt Disney World, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now over at Riverside, you have Old Man Island Pool, which is a great pool. It feels so much smaller than Coronado's. I don't know the actual
it does.
gallon size,
that's true.
but it feels small because it's kind of like intricate in the way it works around. You can get Surrey bike rentals, and you can do horse-drawn carriage rides there, right?
Yeah.
You have the walking paths. You have Yeehaw Bob nightly. A lot of them have the same poolside amenities because we're both at moderate resorts. Which way do you think this goes?
I hate to say it, but I feel like Riverside.
I kind of think so too. I think
It's
Yeehaw
just
Bob,
prettier.
Yeah, your walk to French Quarter.
I like
even.
the walk to French Quarter and that type of thing. I don't love Yeehaw Bob, to be 1,000% honest, but I don't.
Gasp.
Well, sorry, it's the
People
honest
wouldn't
God
be able
truth.
to see me gasp, so I had to audibly say it out loud so people know that you saying you don't like Yeehaw Bob.
I didn't say that. I said the word. I don't love him.
I think it was.
I think it was love, not like. Anyways,
okay. Either way,
I really don't mind sitting at Scat Cat and enjoying that music.
Really nice
that is really cool. So I preferably would, in my opinion, and maybe because we don't drink anymore,
I think that's a fair point.
I would like to go. If we were staying, I would rather go over to Scat Cat instead of Yeehaw. I feel like Yeehaw is very even when we were drinking, I never.
Let's pull before you continue with your Yeehaw Bob slander. You've got your Yeehaw Bob hate club online.
I don't.
No, let's take
He's
French
good
Quarter
and
out
he's
of it.
cute.
We need to take French Quarter out of it. Because we are really, we're not doing
fine,
a Port
it's still-
Orleans only. It's do you
Right.
still lean towards the way of Riverside as far as amenities, recreation, and all
think
of
so.
that?
Yeah, because
Well,
I would say so.
I mean, not that we've done it. You can
It's so
fish.
pretty.
You can fish at Riverside,
Yeah.
right? And I do think that the addition of being able to rent the carriage and do the carriage rides,
That's really
and do the
cool.
Surrey bike
Yeah.
rentals, just for the most fun and laughter you'll ever have while almost dying. I think it takes it over the edge. I definitely agree that as non-drinkers now, it does tilt the scale over towards Riverside, because there was a time where, Coronado Springs, if you are a drinker, like you can have your own bar crawl there. You can go say, we're going to start off at Three Bridges when they open and get some apps and drinks. And then we're going to go hit Barcelona. Then we're going to maybe from there step outside when the weather cools down and some live music's going on at the Lagunas before we head upstairs to Dahlia Lounge for some late night, tapas and drinks, and we watch the fireworks happen over Epcot. So I think in that scenario, it can definitely take over. But again, that's really coming down to drinks and dining, not necessarily amenities. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you're right. Yeehaw Bob, as much as you just absolutely dislike him with everything in your heart.
Oh my gosh.
It does. That is an amenity. That is an advantage.
Right.
Same with the carriage rides and all of that. So Port Orleans Riverside is going to take that point. Now we get down to value for money. Coronado is often, from my research, and I do a lot of it, and I send, I get a lot of rates of different stuff from Amy. Coronado tends to be on the lower end of moderate resorts in pricing.
Yeah.
You can often still find a standard room, which might put you in Ranchos or something, for like $220 to $230 a night.
And then you never know if you'll get upgraded.
You never know. And again, it's so large, and I feel like there are more opportunities.
And if you don't, it's still great.
It's still amazing. Riverside's pretty affordable when you look at Port Orleans, but a lot of times that I'm looking, it's hovering around the 300 range.
It is expensive.
But you have to look at the different value. You have to look at the fact that there are 3 very unique style rooms at Riverside, being an Alligator Bayou, Magnolia Bend, and then the Royal rooms, right? You have to look at, some of the additional stuff you have. This is where I think it's fair to say easy access to French Quarter counts as when it comes to value, because you get to use those amenities as well. Therefore, that's adding to the value and the price. Coronado, you're talking about eating at several different places
Right.
if you're there for a week or
100%. I'm going Coronado.
You're going Coronado with best value.
Yeah.
I can't argue it.
Right.
I mean, when I look at the times where we were doing moderates a lot, one of the reasons we stayed at Coronado so much is because we love it. And we
Yes.
love the people that were there at the time. We still love them. They're wonderful. But most of the folks that we became friends with and got to know really well moved on to other resorts and restaurants and all. But the reason we would book there so much is that I could almost get, at that time a couple years ago, under $200 rates every single time.
Right.
This was a time where I feel like the rate difference between Coronado and All Stars sometimes wasn't that astronomical.
I agree. And they're right down the road.
Right. So I do think that Coronado gets the advantage there. And again, we're not looking at price. We're looking at value.
Right.
Right. So Coronado doesn't win simply because it tends to be cheaper. It's because you're getting more for the money you are paying.
Right.
And that's why I think you put them on an even plane.
Right.
If you said Coronado, Riverside, they're both the exact same price, you have to think of where you'd lean. But the fact that you are going to save money at Coronado and still get all this stuff, that makes it the winner there.
Yep.
Which means that we're going to go into our 7th and final round, which we have no control over because it is the listener round.
Are we at?
Tied 3-3.
Oh my goodness.
Right? So, let's see. Port Orleans took round 1, which was theming and atmosphere. For round 2, Coronado took rooms and comfort. Round 3, dining and drinks. Coronado took the point there. Next 2 rounds, 4, transportation and location, as well as 5, recreation and amenities. Point went to Riverside. And then, of course, we just did round 6, value for money, Coronado. Now we get down to round 7. This is the tiebreaker, the decision maker. Rhonda, read off our Facebook community poll, and let's see who won this sucker.
All right. Well, coming in at 44% is Port Orleans Riverside.
Yep. This was close.
And with a
Very
whopping 56%, Coronado takes the win. Woo! And that's what I gut checked.
You did gut check it, and to be honest, my gut check and what I think I would still say to people is Coronado, but I actually didn't know if they were going to win. I kind of thought Riverside might.
I wasn't sure.
I've really fallen in love with Riverside.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read a couple Facebook comments that we yanked from the multiple that we had, but here's the great thing. This is one of those Resort Wars and kind of showdowns where you're not going to lose regardless of which one you pick.
100%.
These are both such absolutely incredible resorts. And I think they are very, very even. This is almost one of those. We always talk about somebody says, so which one should I stay at, Coronado or Riverside? I'm going to ask additional questions, but I don't feel like I need to.
Right.
I feel like whichever one I say to you, you're going to be very happy at.
Yeah.
Now if I really want to narrow it down, how much time do you want to spend at Disney Springs? Oh, we love going there every night. Okay, Riverside.
Right.
How much do you value? You have a party of 30 and you'd all like to be in the hot tub at the same time? We got a place for you, and it's called Coronado Springs, right? But you know what I mean? You don't have to really split hairs with these resorts because they're both so great.
Right.
All right, couple comments we chose at random from Kristen. Said, we just got back from Port Orleans Riverside. I like how it's a break from the chaos of Disney. Lots of activities. I also like how many quiet pools there are. My kids preferred them over the main pool.
Wow.
And it really it really does transport you somewhere else in that,
I agree.
away from the chaos.
Yeah.
Alicia said, Coronado is like entering another world on Disney property. It's gorgeous, quiet. The pools are amazing, numerous food offerings. And if the views don't do it for you, then Three Bridges should. We will book Coronado anytime we're able.
Oh, nice.
I got to say, man, when you get in the tower and you're facing Villa del Lago and Three Bridges and all, it is absolutely stunning.
And then when you're sitting down eating at Three Bridges and you look up, and you're like,
at nighttime,
that's where I
and the sun setting.
That's where my room is.
And it's Christmas time when they light it up in red and green. Evan says Riverside because you can walk to French Quarter for beignets.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
I agree completely.
100%.
And again, we're sitting here going, well, it's Riverside against Coronado. It's not Riverside and French Quarter against Coronado. But when that person does come and ask for our
100%.
opinion, we're going to say, well, if you stay at Riverside, you can walk for beignets. It's coming up every time. Kara said, have loved Riverside since it was Dixie Landings. Honeymoon there, and my kids grew up at that resort.
Aww.
Went back for our 20th anniversary, and it was still as charming as ever. If I'm staying moderate, it's here. The boat to Springs is a huge draw. The walking paths are awesome. Boat rides for breakfast. Quick walk to beignets. Love it all.
Aw.
I stayed at Dixie Landings.
Yeah.
I
You
never
remember
knew
that.
until a couple years ago going through old photos. And there we were, and it said Dixie Landings. So I do not remember it at all. Also,
That's
shocking
funny.
that we stayed on property with my family.
Maybe it was cheap.
It must have been.
Where
at the
your
time
mom
when it
was like, we're going to stay
Yeah, we're not
here.
staying at a Motel 6 or something this time. All right. Finally, a comment from Patricia says, the first time I stayed at Coronado was my son's first Disney trip in 1999. He was 5.5. It was perfect for our family. I stayed 2 nights in the tower last summer and loved it even more. Great places to eat, spaces to relax, and a beautifully designed lobby. But my favorite thing is the smart elevators in the tower. Said, yes, that is silly, but it's so much easier than trying to guess which elevator will open, especially if you move slowly. I love these smart
I do
elevators.
too. I think
And-
they should be everywhere.
And if you don't know about the smart elevators, here's what's great. For the most part, 90% of the time, you go down, you select your floor outside of the elevator.
Yeah.
Once you get on, guess where you're going?
To that
your
floor.
You're not stopping 87 times on every single floor.
Unless a whole bunch of people, and then they will put
Right.
in like, yeah.
Yeah,
so- but you're still not stopping
you don't
at 87.
share elevators as much.
Right.
Like it is such a great thing there. So Coronado Springs is our first Resort Wars Showdown winner. They will move on to the next round.
Okay.
Stay tuned.
What
of
is
course.
the next round?
You know what? I don't have it all in front of me laid out yet.
Because-
so I have to look at what other ones we did. I have them all obviously
Okay.
sitting in sheets and spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I can't remember who they're going to end up going up against because, it should be, they might actually have to go against the Deluxe.
That's what I was
because
wondering. Is it
we've
going to
already
end up?
done the
Wow.
4, moderates with that
Right.
got us to this one. So I can't remember where they're going to match up, but we'll try to get ones matched up pretty evenly. But if you want to hear those episodes coming up, then you got to hit subscribe and get brand new episodes every single Tuesday and Friday. Of course, Rhonda and I, we'd be very, very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home.